It's back. Football and the buy one, get one free promotion over at vitaminenergy.com. It's Warchant BOGO. Buy one, get one free. Vitamin Energy, synergistically formulated to give you all the energy you need to make it through your day, as well as vitamins and nutrients to help out with things like your focus, your mood, and even your immune response. So give it a try. Shake it and take it. Try it. You'll like it. Sip the juice. vitaminenergy.com. Warchant BOGO, the promo code. Buy one, get one free.
From Tally to Cali,
it's time
to wake up.
Wake up! Wake up!
Warchant.com is your ultimate Seminole sports source.
And this is Wake Up Warchant, presented by
Vitamin Energy.
The vitamins.
The energy.
Now here's Warchant.com's Aslan Hajavandi.
And Corey Clark.
I'm up like Folgers. I'm up. Hit up from anywhere. I'm good like Kobe. Don't make me take it down straight like the rose.
Wake up. It's Wake Up Warchant, presented by Vitamin Energy. Coming up on today's show, when I say we do a deep dive on the depth chart, the depths that we go to, I don't think any other podcast has ever done when it comes to a depth chart. Corey pinpoints the reason why we find ourselves in this current position, and we get a little bit of a sense of the energy around Bama after hearing from their coordinators and coach. Wake Up Warchant, presented by Vitamin Energy, vitaminenergy.com. Shake it and take it. Buy one, get one free. But there's a password, everybody. There's a promo code. Corey, can you help me? What's the code that allows one to buy one and get one free over at vitaminenergy.com?
Is it abracadabra?
I've been waiting 6 months to hear you roar with the Warchant BOGO, but I'll have to wait another day.
Oh, my fault. Hey, it's been a minute. I'm sorry, everyone. We'll do it tomorrow. Look forward to that tomorrow, Vitamin Energy.
Warchant BOGO, buy one, get one free over at vitaminenergy.com. Synergistically formulated to give you all the energy plus the vitamins and nutrients to get you through your day at peak performance. One little bottle. Take it everywhere you got to go. Shoot. It even fits into your little it fits into the clear bag policy that you'll need when you go into Doak Campbell Stadium. It's going to be a hot one. Maybe use the Hydrate Plus to get your electrolyte game up. vitaminenergy.com, shake it and take it. Warchant.com, your ultimate Seminole sports source. Going strong, everybody. We trust and believe in ourselves so much that we're asking you to come on down, get warchant.com for $1 your first week. As a bonus, your membership includes a complimentary year of The Athletic. And for the first 100 folks out there, if you sign up this week, you'll also get a $25 gift code to Garnet and Gold. Time to get rid of all the old stuff, Corey, right? The T-shirt from last year was bad luck. You need a new T-shirt. You need a new hat. You can get it at Garnet and Gold. You'll have that $25 gift code you can use when you sign up for warchant.com. And you also can read Corey's awesome stuff and have great access to all the important people at Florida State that Irish O'Fell knows. He's got Peter Collins on the program yesterday, and then they did a Monday Smash him and Tomling afterwards. So come on down, get ready. It's football season. Warchant.com's got you covered, and warchant.com means a lot of people. And near the top, the top of the list, Corey Clark, senior writer, lead writer for warchant.com. Corey, how are you? How excited are you for game week? How excited are you for the new folks to come join us over at warchant.com?
I'm really excited. It's a good time to join. Look, it's like it's buy and low, right? You buy low, you sell high. You're getting a great deal. You get to join the best preeminent website covering Florida State, and people might think, well, why would I want to dive into the Florida State program right now, coming off 2-10? Don't be a fan later.
Correct.
It's coming. They're going to come back. They're not going to be in a valley forever, and that climb might be starting on Saturday, and it might be a huge leap. You know what I mean? You might already get to base camp if you beat Alabama, and then the peak is only a couple of steps away. So that's my Mount Everest talk, guys. I hate to bore you, but I'm
alpinist,
pretty skilled.
Alpinist Corey Clark over here.
Skilled climber. It's my first love. Everybody that listens to this show knows that. Actually, I read Into Thin Air by John Krakauer. That's the only reason I know anything. But yeah, so I legitimately, I think I'm not. This isn't a hard sell right now. This is such a unique, interesting season, as I've stressed, because you're coming off such a ridiculous season that really, again, no fan base. I want everybody to look at themselves right now in the rearview mirror if you're driving, in your bedroom if you're looking up at the ceiling. Look at yourself in the mirror and understand that no fan base has ever gone through what you guys have gone through in the last 13 months. Nobody. I would say last 18 months, let's say. Nobody goes 13-0 and 2-10. You've lived a life that nobody's lived. So who knows what this season is going to be, but it's exciting to think of all the possibilities. Probably there's a little trepidation too. I get it. You've been wounded. You might think, I hope this doesn't happen again. But there should also be some hope, starting with what could be a huge win on Saturday.
Absolutely. That's why we're doing the Garnet and Gold gift card this week. We're not trying to get the people that are jumping on the bandwagon after this 1-0 start.
Yeah, we want to take care of the
train.
real believers.
Yeah,
the true believers. We want to take care of them now. Anybody can jump on after East Texas A&M, or Virginia, but jump on before the Alabama game. That's when you know you're a true fan.
Quickly before we start, Justin over on YouTube with a really good point. You keep bringing up the number 32 in running backs, and you claim, Corey, to be Mr. Atlanta, yet you never mentioned Jamal Anderson.
Yeah, that's true. The ultimate dirty bird. Actually, that was Eugene Robinson. I'll take you down memory lane, folks. The first time that the Atlanta Falcons were in the Super Bowl, they've been in it twice, and the second one was pretty memorable. The first time, Eugene Robinson was the safety, and that's when the dirty bird was the touchdown dance. Everybody loved it.
Yeah.
Arsenio was doing it. Jay Leno was probably doing it. It took the nation by storm. Well, anyway, Eugene Robinson was the captain of that team, was voted the NFL Man of the Year, won the award on Saturday night. It was a Saturday night award with banquet, got caught with a prostitute later that night. And I feel like sent the franchise into a tailspin. That's karma that's still taking him a long time to get out of. But, yeah, you're right. Jamal Anderson, great running back when he was healthy, Utah's finest, and was a big part of that Super Bowl team.
Yeah. Number 32, not on the depth chart.
Oh, yeah, he was.
Croma. Oh, was he the second running back?
Yeah.
Fourth running back almost listed.
Yeah, but come on, man.
What are we doing here?
He was behind Lucas. Lucas was the second starting running back. But there were 4 running backs on the depth chart, and it was the 4 that we would have assumed, which was Sawchuk or Roydell Williams at one spot, Jalen Lucas by himself, bolded, starter at the other spot, and Cromall behind him. But, I mean, come on. Who do you think's going to have more carries at the end of the year?
I don't know. What are we doing? Why are we releasing these things? Why are we writing stories about this? Why are we going to spend 10 minutes talking about it? But I do want to get to this one part of your story that you wrote up, Corey, after looking at the depth chart and kind of releasing your observations, which we'll touch on here in a second. But the concept that possibly some of this could be subterfuge, but almost motivational, kick in the pants kind of stuff, right? Like you think you're the guy, or they've been telling you got to step your game up, and you're like, all right, I'm trying. But then to finally see game week depth chart, like maybe your name's not on it, maybe your name is lower than you thought. This could be some sort of wake-up call, if you will. Is it not too late for that? Shouldn't you not have woken up a few weeks ago during camp to get yourself at the top of the depth chart in week 1? Or do you think this speaks volumes to the way the schedule works out, and there isn't a too late because you don't start ACC play for another 4 weeks, and that's when everything really is going to start to matter?
Yeah, obviously Saturday matters. We get it. Many of you that are listening to this are coming here for this game. It's a really big game. I don't know how many SEC teams have played in Doak, but not many. Alabama never has. It's a really fun game, and it's a cool game. The real season for what you're trying to accomplish in 2025 starts in a month. So you still have time to send messages and figure out. I don't even know if it's sending messages. It could be, especially at safety in the backfield. You've got too many what I think are high, well, at least were high-level defensive back recruits to have a former walk-on as a second-string safety. You're telling me if Earl Little sprains his ankle on the 4th play of the game, Donnie Hebert is going in there and trying to cover Ryan Williams or trying to blast one of those running backs near the line of scrimmage? Yeah. That really, I mean, it could be. The kid could have been awesome. I'm not saying that it hasn't. I've watched that kid practice for a couple of years. He brings it. He tries hard. He certainly is a talented enough football player to play college football somewhere. I don't know if he would belong in the secondary in a season opener against Alabama, but maybe he does. Again, I haven't seen how he fits in this system. And I'm not judging him simply because he was a former walk-on, because there have been a lot of really good players that came in as walk-ons that ended up playing the NFL for a long time. So I'm not judging him based on that. But you have a lot of guys in that defensive backfield that you've signed and we're really excited about. And that kid's on the depth chart, and other guys aren't. Yeah. So anyway, but I think the bigger story at that position in particular is Barker over Shaheem Brown.
Yeah.
To me, because Ashlyn Barker, he's been. This is his third year. He was here the last 2 years. It did virtually nothing.
He had an interception. He had a couple 4-tackle games against Notre Dame and Florida.
I remember he took over that Notre Dame game.
Yeah.
Yeah, he really took it over late.
Really good size though, man. 6'3", 216. That's enticing.
No, and he might end up being a better option than Shaheem Brown. Like legitimately, he might just fit this defense and what Tony White's trying to do. Maybe the physicality, or it could be, look, man, you're not going to show us you want to play hard. You're not going to show us you want to really, really give your all. Well, we got guys that can play in front of you, that we'll put in front of you, because we know they'll at least give it their all. And again, this is subtext. This is not something that's been said. It's just when you see a guy that's been a 2-year starter that played valuable reps in 2022 too now, like he was on the field a lot in 2022 as well, and then was a starter the last 2 years, being second team behind a guy he's been in front of for the last 2 years. No. Well, that'll raise your eyebrows a little bit. So again, it might be production in practice. Maybe Shaheem's a little banged up. Maybe they don't like his fit in this defense. Maybe he's lost a ton of confidence after last year. All these things are, possible. But that's the one that kind of raised my eyebrows the most. But also, weirdly, I expected him to be second team. I expected him to be second team behind KJ Kirkland, and like Edwin Joseph and Earl Little would be the other safety type guys in the middle. Not behind Ashlyn Barker.
Yeah.
But hey, I'm not giving enough credit to Ashlyn Barker. He might end up being really darn good, and this will sound really dumb in a couple weeks or in a couple months. But that's just very surprising that Shaheem that Ashlyn Barker is starting, and maybe Edwin Joseph isn't, and Shaheem Brown definitely isn't. Yeah, that's surprising to me.
I feel like every week there's just a new cluster of guys that I think are like the X factor guys. Like we know Darrell Jackson, Tommy's going to have a good game, Deuce is going to have a good game. Pettibone's going to have a good game, but there's like these X factor guys, and I don't think James Williams would be one, but like to me it was like Amari Williams, right? Like, will Amari Williams be this big sort of dynamic sort of weapon they think they could have? Can Jason Jenkins be around? But like Ashlyn Barker, this now is going to underpin a large part of this defense if this depth chart means that he is going to not only start but probably be on the field for a lot of the football game. Let's keep it on defense before we pivot over to the offense. I thought maybe the most kind of eye-opening thing to me on the entire depth chart was over on the defense, but that was Stephon Thompson not being a starting linebacker. Shout out, I guess, maybe to – I actually shouldn't say that. He's got 2. But Tony White – or no, 3, never mind. So a lot of oars on offense, not as many on defense, but it's Omar Graham at Jack, which is that outside linebacker kind of defensive end hybrid. Mm-hmm. It's him and Stephon Thompson. Very curious that the Thompson apparently has been in good spirits, good health, has looked as good as he ever has, but wasn't good enough to hold off Omar Graham. That to me is the biggest surprise. It
is. I don't see. That's one where I think, in this again, this is purely speculation. I think they will play similar number of snaps. I really do. Okay. And I think there's a chance they could both be on the field at the same time, depending on the look. Maybe they're both coming off the edge. Maybe they're both playing Jack, one on one side, one on the other. We don't know how any of that's going to look. There will be times where I think they have 4 linebackers, or maybe they're just 2 of the 3. But I think that's maybe like credits Omar Graham. Like, did he enter the portal last year? I don't remember. It's hard to remember the guys that enter and then pull out. I can't remember if he did or not. I don't know why that I think he might have.
I think he did, but I should probably look that up.
But either way,
yeah, he withdrew his name. He did enter, and then he withdrew his name in mid-December.
But shout out for him for being here. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like they went and got 3 guys if you count Lavely, who's been banged up. That's why he didn't. I think if he was healthy, A.J. Cottrell probably wouldn't be on the depth chart, but I don't know that for sure. A.J. Cottrell's the other former walk-on that is second-string linebacker as well. Lavely's not on there, but I think they do like him. he just returned to practice last week though, so I don't think he's full speed, and probably maybe he's available for this game, but he's not on the depth chart. But I think that when Omar Graham, they went and got 3 transfer linebackers, 2 that had played a lot, 1 that had played with the incoming defensive coordinator, and he stuck around and won that spot over that kid. That says a lot about him, right?
Yeah.
And look, the thing about Omar Graham is when he's healthy, he's been a solid to decent college linebacker. It's hard keeping him healthy. But the fact that he stayed and beat out a guy that came with the coach, that knows the defense better than anybody not named Tony White. Number one, you'd like Stephon to be a little bit better than that. I get it. But also, shout out to Omar. I mean, there's always a yin and a yang to these things. But truly, shout out to Omar Graham. Like that's a big deal. That's something to celebrate. A guy that's in this day and age that stays when they bring in 3 linebackers at his position and then beats out who we all thought was almost penciled in as a starter. Yeah. Good for him, man. Yeah. Again, I think they'll play a lot, both of them. But that's cool to see in this day and age.
I don't know if there's any other team in the country that has 3 linebackers that are all 6'1", 238 pounds. But Omar Graham, 6'1", 238. So Stephon Thompson. So's Justin Cryer.
Probably not. There's no way. There's no way. That might be an NCAA record. You're telling me all 3 starting linebackers are 6'1", 238?
Well, no. Elijah Herring, 6'2", 231. So.
Oh, okay, that's right. Stephon Thompson is the So
yeah.
3 out of the 4. Yeah. And then the 5th one is Blake Nicholson. And then, like we talked about, A.J. Cottrell is the 6th linebacker. And look, they'll probably play 5. I'm expecting, unless they get banged up, they will probably play 5. But I will say this. Obviously, Alabama is a completely different animal, and it would not be a great look necessarily. But you and I have both watched A.J. Cottrell practice for 3 years at least.
Yeah.
2 years at least, maybe 3. That kid brings it, man. Like, he makes plays in practice. He hits. He's ornery. Like he's got some stuff to him that you really like out of linebackers. And so, yeah, I think he's earned the right to have his name on a depth chart, and clearly it helped that one of the guys was hurt. But he is not a joke, I guess. Right. Neither one of those guys are jokes of football players. And I don't think their teammates think of them as like walk-ons or former walk-ons. Those guys have been a part of the program probably longer than anybody on the team. At least top 5, right? Like, I don't know who's been here longer than those guys. Bryson Estes. So yeah, man, shout out to those guys for sticking with it. They're on scholarship now, and they have been making plays in practice for the better part of 3 years. Now, they have not gotten in any meaningful reps, and, I would just – if for some reason either one of them play on Saturday, don't come back and be snarky if they don't look great. It's Alabama. You wouldn't look great either. Anyway, sorry, Aslan.
Corner Pocket Bar and Grill, 2475 Appalachia Parkway, will be the wick of the party bomb that's going to be this opening weekend of college football in Tallahassee, Florida. The can't-miss kickoff tour presented by Modelo. They picked Tallahassee. They picked Florida State. They picked the Corner Pocket Bar and Grill. Come join us from 5 to 9 p.m. Although on our meeting the other day, Corey, Boss Man said 5 to 8 p.m.
I think it is 8.
Okay.
Look, I'll be there probably long after 8 p.m. But, I think 5 to 8 is the official home field portion of it. But, yeah, there'll be good times and revelry to 2 a.m.
Yeah, always at the Corner Pocket Bar and Grill, regardless of who's rolling in town. But come on out. The whole Warchant team should be out there. Corey and I are going to tap dance live for 20, 30 minutes, get you guys energized. Free wings for the first 100 fans to show up. Free Modelo drafts for the first 200 fans. There's also going to be a raffle. 2 tickets up for grabs to the Alabama-Florida State game. Also a first look at new home field and Garnet and Gold exclusive apparel. Wear your home field apparel or show your proof of purchase from Garnet and Gold from the past month. I'm going to keep saying it. I think you'll probably get a ticket to the raffle, but I should email somebody to get confirmation on that. Maybe on tomorrow's show, after Corey gives us a nice hearty Warchant BOGO, I'll figure that all out. Come join us at the Corner Pocket Bar and Grill on Friday. Go there Saturday. Go there every day of the week. Daily lunch specials, weekday happy hours, weekend libations, live music. It's a place you got to be in Tallahassee. It's the Corner Pocket Bar and Grill. We're back. It's Wake Up Warchant, presented by Vitamin Energy. VitaminEnergy.com. Warchant BOGO. Buy one, get one free. Defensive line, Corey. James Williams, Darrell Jackson, Jason Jenkins.
Yeah.
7 months removed from tearing his Achilles. That's your starting 3 guys, which I think if we saw this in late December, we'd be like, all right, that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. I don't know how much of the Achilles gives us a little bit of pause, but to see the guys backing them up, I think that's the more, I don't want to say concerning, but the more, the least exciting part of looking at this depth chart on the defense. Jaden Jones, a guy that we've chronicled kind of what he's been through, and the fact that he did stick it out and has been praised throughout camp is awesome, but he's going to be at a position that James Williams is at, which we kind of think is this speed rushing, pass rush specialist, and Jones really hasn't shown us that, but he's been injured and he's finally healthy, so maybe he turns a corner. Daniel Lyons, who on the Warchant rap that you and Ira did after the press conference yesterday, Corey, Ira kind of postulated that he thought Daniel Lyons was probably more suited to playing that bigger defensive end, that edge setting kind of role, but they got listed him as a second-team nose tackle. And then behind Jason Jenkins, who is your bigger body defensive end, is Deontay McCray or Mandrell Desir.
Yeah, there you go, Desir, brother.
Yeah. Take that, Darrell.
We did think it would be funny if they had just put Desir twin. They didn't have to put twins. Yeah. One of the twins they could have put on the depth chart. Again, how do they get? Nobody knows the difference. Yeah. Just switch jerseys.
That's 7 guys, 7 names playing really important positions and against a really top-tier offensive line, and it makes you feel a little bit anxious. At least me.
Yeah, I think when I look at it, when you're playing a 3-3-5, if you're thinking about what the box is going to look like, a weird thing to say, but it's a weird phrase. But if you're thinking about what it's going to look like around the line of scrimmage, James Williams we thought would be a starter. He is. That's why he's here. He's supposed to play a lot of snaps, a lot more than he's ever played. We'll see how he holds up over the course of a game and over the course of a season. Darrell Jackson and back in January, Jason Jenkins, this was probably the 3 you penciled in as starters. Maybe McCray, but McCray's in the mix. So you've got those 7 up front, but then you also got to account for, let's say, Earl Little coming down, and then those 3 linebacker spots. When you're talking about those 7 guys, that's what did you say? They're all 230. All 3 of them are 238 pounds, or 3 of them are 238 pounds. Herring has been a tackling machine in his career. I like that there can be some physicality there. I wouldn't say any of those people are undersized except for James Williams, and he's listed at 255. He just doesn't look maybe like he's that big. But he says he's carrying the weight well, and they seem to like him. But you know what I mean? Like if you don't think of it as just the 3 defensive linemen, but if you think about like, okay, who's actually going to be near the line of scrimmage that offensive linemen are going to be trying to pull and block? It's not horrible. There are some things you give up in a 3-3-5, and one of them is that extra defensive lineman. But if you have big linebackers that can shoot gaps, that have instincts and play, and you have a rover like Earl Little that could come down and thump you, well, you can make up for not having that lineman by creating mismatches outside with your faster guys against slower pulling guards. That could happen too. Anyway, all that's trying to be a little Pollyanna and trying to be a little bit homerish and be like, hey, I'm not worried about Alabama. What are they going to do? They got to worry about Florida State. They got to worry about Jaden Jones and Jason Jenkins. Really cool story, though, that both of those guys are apparently going to be in the rotation. Again, it's a tough ask in game 1, but it's really cool that those guys have worked themselves back, along with Rizzi on the offensive line, who I think will play. We'll get to him in a second. Like I think he'll play some too. That's a really cool on their parts that they've done that they've accomplished that. That Jaden Jones has never played a meaningful snap of college football, and he's been out of high school for a long time. That should change on Saturday. So cool for them. We'll see what it looks like. I do like that Jason Jenkins is a bigger guy. McCray's a big guy. Diggs isn't on the list, but he's a pretty big guy. Lyons is a big guy, but I think Ira's right. They wanted him outside. You really would have liked to have Kevin Wynn for 10 to 12 snaps.
Yep.
That's not happening. Norvell confirmed he's out. Him and Loane McCoy, he confirmed, were out. Those were the only 2 he was asked about. He didn't release a depth chart, injury report or anything. But yeah, overall, it's not a great defensive line, but we knew that going in, and you hope that by the Virginia game, either Kevin Wynn's back and has proven to be the real deal, one of the Desir brothers has proven to be the real deal, or Jenkins and Jones are better than we think they are right now. Because why would we think they're anything great right now? We haven't seen them. But they're starting in an Alabama. Or they're going to play against Alabama, so there's got to be something to them, you'd think. I don't foresee Terrence Knighton just playing scrubs. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, I think he's going to throw out there some guys that can play. Can they play to the level of Alabama's offensive line? Probably not. You know, they didn't go and get a bunch of first-rounders out of the portal, but I think as the season goes on, it might prove to be a very capable defensive line. And more than that, a capable running defense, if those linebackers can be, better than serviceable.
Jabril Rawls, Jerry Wilson, your cornerbacks, no surprise there. And as Corey mentioned, Edwin Joseph or KJ Kirkland at your other safety spot. Mild pushback. I don't know if I want to see Jacob Rizzi play.
Okay.
Maybe over the course of the season, I guess, if somebody gets hurt, maybe that's what you were insinuating. But I don't want to. Yeah. I don't want any of this substitution nonsense third series of the game. Like, let's just roll some new dude out there, unless things are going terribly wrong.
I was going to say, unless one of your guys is getting beaten like a drum, it's nice to have another option that they like. I mean, I feel like it could be a little bit like, was it 2 years ago when Darius Washington was kind of the swing player until he had to come in and be a every game starter? Maybe it was 3 years ago. But, you could have a guy like that that can swing from position to position, at least from guard to guard. Like if Richie Leonard sprains an ankle or just can't handle this guy, you can give Rizzi a try. I do like that you have 6 guys that you feel confident in. What I don't like, but again, this isn't a surprise, and I'm not negative Nancy. That's not my job. I don't do that. But they have 12 offensive linemen listed on the depth chart with the oars and everything. 12 offensive line positions listed on the depth chart. Only 3 are guys you recruited that were here last year. Only 3. And I mean, for the backups. Obviously, Rizzi and Leonard were here, but none of these guys, it's Lucas Simmons, Jonathan Daniels, and Andre Otto. Yeah. All the linemen they've signed over the last 4 years, all of them. There's only 3 that make the season opening depth chart for the 2025 season.
Hey, man, Daughtry Richardson's on Bruce Feldman's freaks list, but he's down at FIU these days.
Yeah, that's crazy. Old Daughtry. Old Daughtry. Hey, one of the better American Idol acts, by the way.
Yeah.
Hit it big. He hit it big. Who is the biggest American Idol? Is it Kelly Clarkson still?
I think, probably.
Nobody's past that, right?
Yeah. He's got a
was it Guarini? Guarini didn't.
I mean, those little sweet commercials were pretty solid, though.
Yeah. He fizzled out.
You mentioned this.
Shanna was a big fan of Justin Guarini.
Oh, is she?
Sadly, yeah. Yeah.
Sorry. You mentioned this in the wrap. It is curious that Adrian Medley is your primary backup at right tackle. Because
it's not curious, it's troubling. But it's not troubling for this current staff. It's just, again, it shows you kind of what went wrong, what was derailed over the last few years. There was absolutely, positively no development of offensive linemen. None. Those guys didn't get any better from 2022 on. And anybody that got here didn't get any better. And they're not even Herb Hand, who comes in with a completely blank slate. Only sees 3 of them of even being worthy to being on the depth chart. Out of all the guys they've signed, that's problematic, but you hope that's changing. You hope that, man, for all we know, Otto and Simmons and Daniels might be 3 cornerstones of your offensive line next year. That there is some light at the end of the tunnel, maybe. There is some hope. But it just shows what a dearth of homegrown offensive linemen they've had and why they're going to be in a very similar spot, perhaps, when they leave 2025 of having to go get a bunch of more offensive linemen. But that's an indictment of Norvell. Clearly, Norvell is first and foremost. He's at the top of the pyramid, and the people that were working for him to evaluate and develop guys. It was just not getting done at nearly the level it needed to get done. And I think they were all stunted by the fact that they had a bunch of 22-year-olds that the offensive line coach was in love with that they were just going to play. Those were his guys, and they were going to play. Nobody was going to get really developed in games unless they were thrown in an injury, and it just derailed the entire position room. But you hope it's back. And look, I think this starting five is going to be good enough, man. It's going to be good enough to accomplish some things this year. It's not going to be an embarrassment. It's not going to be a joke. I really do think those guys are going to do pretty well. It's just, again, I'm going to keep stressing this. It's hard to judge them in one game, their first game, against the likes of Alabama. It might be hard. Don't rush to judgment on what this season or what this offense is going to be based on one game. I do think this offensive line, as it plays together, will gel and become a pretty decent offensive line. And that's not because I've broken down a lot of Gunnar Hansen or Micah Pettis game film. It's because I know Herb Hand and Gus Malzahn's track record, and I trust it.
Well, I don't need to be defending Alex Atkins, but he did say in that, I think the press conference probably after Mike told him that he wasn't going to be coming back this year, that he was, he wanted to do right by his guys. He didn't want to put anybody out there that wasn't ready to play and have their development stunted. So I know there's this kind of, I don't know, narrative or whatever, but there's a sort of, belief that, Atkins had his guys, and like if you weren't one of his guys, like there wasn't room for you at the table. I don't know if that really was the case. And we're seeing it kind of now, though, right? I mean, like Lucas, if Lucas Simmons would have beat out somebody for one of these jobs, or if Andre Otto, although Andre Otto was like a true freshman, so that's probably not totally fair. I gave it maybe a little bit more credence, but these guys are still behind several other players. So, just my thought.
Well, I guess I would say then evaluate better. Quit bringing in guys that can't play. You know what I mean? Just quit bringing in guys that can't play. But I also don't think that he missed on all of them. I think there were instances and chances, even just to deliver a message. And Maurice Smith, God love him, was banged up half his life. Half his life in Florida State, he was hobbling and wobbling. He put his body through the ringer to play every day. He couldn't get a month off. You know what I mean? You couldn't find anybody better than that. And I'm talking about injured Maurice Smith. You didn't have anybody on your roster that was better than injured Maurice Smith. But it's because you trusted him to get the calls right. Well, why did you trust him? Because you couldn't teach the other guys to get the calls right. Or you didn't trust that you could teach the other guys to get the call right. And get the formation checked into. That's all. It's just like there's no real good excuse for what we witnessed last year and what Herb Hand was left. That's all. Yeah. That's all. But I mean, look, man, the reality is the reality. We are where we are. And I want to get to the good thing real quick, Aslan, if I could transition real quick. The bad news, like I said, is that there's only three of your own guys that are on the offensive line depth chart right now.
Well,
what does encourage
Thompson, man, Sandman.
That's right. That's right. Good call. There's only three guys held over from last year that were your own guys that were good call. But that's what I wanted to get to transition. Is there's a more than a few true freshmen sprinkled into that two deep. I think it's 7. Now Kevin Sperry's on there as an or. I think that's probably because.
Very surprised.
But I think that's because Brock Glenn had missed most of camp.
I know. I thought Sperry would have been ahead of him, like clearly.
Yeah. I think that's more of I don't know
seniority,
though, man.
like doing a favor thing.
Maybe, but also
we shouldn't be in the business of doing that right now.
But I don't know that like Sperry has been incredible enough that you would think, okay, if Castellano sprains his ankle on the 9th play, you see how I changed up the play right there? I think for Earl Little I said 4th. I went to 9th on this one. So he got a drive in him. He might have had a 3-play touchdown drive.
Two drives.
Yeah, 2 3-play touchdown drives. Yeah. But if he sprains his ankle in the first quarter, are they really going to throw it? Do they feel comfortable enough to throw in a true freshman? I don't know that they think that or know that right now.
No, okay, that's fair.
They still might think Brock Glenn is the better option, but that might not be true. Yeah. But to that point, you've got – and I think it just shows – and Norvell kind of hinted at it a little bit because not a little bit. He was talking about how – the fact that by the middle of the season they might have double-digit freshmen that are playing and in the rotation. And he's like, that just goes to show you the kind of evaluation, the quality of evaluation we had. And that's threefold, really. Yes, it does. It also shows you the quality of the evaluation you had in the years before, where these true freshmen can leap onto the depth chart in less than a year. But also, it it shows you that maybe there was another one too. I can't remember what the threefold is.
Chroma? Or,
but
no,
just that there were three things that it said. Yeah. But I do think that that's a solid foundation, man. When you look at Javon Boggs is starting. Yeah. I don't know the last true freshman. Should look that up probably. The last true freshman to start a season opener at wide receiver at Florida State?
George Campbell. No, I'm just kidding.
No chance. Yeah, I can't even imagine who that would have been because it wasn't Rashad, and he was the last really good true freshman wide receiver they had.
Doss?
Doss? No, not back then. Because Doss was he was transitioning from running back. No, not Kez either. I don't know. That's a Tamarick Vanover barely played his first few games until he took the world by storm. I'll have to go look that up. Okay. And also, we don't know if he'll actually start because we don't know if they had 12 starters on offense because they had 3 wide receivers, 2 running backs, a tight end, a quarterback, and 5 linemen. So they're running the 12 versus 11 offense, which gives them a real good chance on Saturday if they'll let them do that. But so you've got Chroma, you've got Boggs. We both think those guys are legit. Like, good job. The Boggs is starting against Alabama as a true freshman. That's really, really impressive. So you've got those 2 guys. You've got Sperry, who maybe plays, maybe doesn't. And I'm not talking about in this game. I mean in his career at Florida State. Not a great track record of Norvell's QBs panning out, but we're hoping for the best. But then a Desir twin is on there. Arnaud is on there. Chavez Thompson is on there.
Chase Lofton
is on there.
At
receiver. Chase Lofton, yes. So, man, Amari Williams, I think he's technically a sophomore, but second-year guy. Mekhi Dancy, a second-year guy. Landon Thomas, a second-year guy. All of a sudden, you're starting to see names, and I think talented guys, sprinkled onto this team where you have a real foundation for something to build upon. Now, it's only 7 guys right now that are true freshmen, but it'll probably be – by the time the season's over, maybe they play 15 freshmen. 11 of them can be – and Kevin Wynn wasn't even mentioned in that list. I think he would have been on the 2 deep if he was available to play. Hey, man, that's what we're talking about, Aslan. That's excitement to build upon. No matter how well they play or if they even play in this game, that is excitement to build upon that they think so highly of these guys. Like, how many true freshmen do you think were on the 2 deep last year? Any? Landon Thomas, I guess.
Nah, man, Kyle Morlock, dog.
Well, I think Landon Thomas might have been the backup, but I'm talking about just on the 2 deep. Yeah. There weren't many, let's just say. So the fact that they've got guys that I think aren't just on there to be on there that are going to play and produce. Good sign, man. Good sign that they evaluated and hit on some of these recruits. Because when you go back and look at, like, the 2023 recruiting class, sweet Moses. You want to know why 2024 sucked? Go look at that class. I don't know that any of them are still here. Like, 2 of them. Like, probably Jabril Rawls and Edwin Joseph. Like, everybody. Can you read those names, Aslan?
Hold on.
I thought you were doing that while I was talking.
Depth chart last year, Kyle Morlock starting tight end, backups Brian Courtney or Jackson West.
Okay, so Landon Thomas didn't even make that.
All right, so what names did you want? Just the
No, I meant if you could. No, I meant for the 2023 recruiting class.
Oh.
Like, go and look at that. Because I think, that's the class that should be, like, matriculating this year and maturing into the foundation of your football team. 2 years removed. They're all 2021. They've had 3 years of experience.
Are you ready?
This is their 3rd year. And it's just – and they're coming off a 10-3 season now with a lot of hype and hope and preseason top 10. And what is that recruiting class, Aslan? Run through it quick.
Hakeem Williams, Lucas Simmons, Blake Nicholson, Conrad Hussey, KJ Sampson, Lamont Green Jr., Jaden Jones, Vandravius Jacobs, Edwin Joseph, Sam Singleton, Goldie Lawrence, Brock Glenn, KJ Kirkland, Andre Otto, Jabril Rawls, Quindarius Jones, DeMarco Ward, Dylan Brown Turner, Ashlyn Barker.
So – 3 starters?
Justin Cryer in there, too. I'm sorry.
Okay, yeah, but Cryer was okay.
He was
we'll give him Cryer.
not really
Yeah, I don't give him. I know. You know what? I don't give him Cryer. They didn't sign Justin Cryer. He came when his coach was fired wrongfully, it turns out.
Yeah, Pat Fitzgerald,
vindicated. And good on Northwestern to own up to it. Yeah. So many times these institutions will fire someone because of public backlash, and then they'll get sued, there'll be a settlement, and they won't say anything about it. They won't address it. Northwestern paid the settlement and then essentially said, yeah, we made a mistake. It was a rush to judgment. We fired him. He had no knowledge of any of the hazing that was going on, and basically, our bad. We're sorry. No institutions ever do that. So shout out to Northwestern. But so you're talking about Edwin Joseph, Jabril Rawls,
KJ Kirkland,
KJ Kirk. But yeah, but Edwin Joseph and KJ. So one of those guys will start. So Edwin Joseph, Jabril Rawls. You have 2 starters. Yeah. Anybody else?
Nope, no sir.
Gross. You basically did it. Now, look, some of those guys might play. Quindarius is going to play. You mentioned a couple of other guys in there that will play. Blake Nicholson. Yeah. Justin Cryer, if you want to count him, but I don't because he wasn't a part of that original class. Blake Nicholson will play. I think you mentioned another defensive back that will probably play. But, you were building off a 10-win season. You were going to be a preseason top 10 team the next year. You had been there for 3 years at that point, and you put together that kind of class where 3 years later, 2 of them were going to start.
22nd ranked. Sorry, Corey. 22nd ranked class in the nation. 47% blue chip percentage.
Yeah, and most of them are gone. Like I would say, there's more that have left that are still here, and I know part of that is just the nature of the sport now. But part of that is when you don't recruit well and you don't hit. Yet they want to leave and go play somewhere else. You have to go portal over them. It looks like this class in particular, this freshman class, has some real dudes in it. Aslan.
Yes, sir.
That might end up being a big part of this program moving forward. You might hit on half of them. Not 2 out of 22, but 11 out of 22. Or 13 out of 25 that actually contribute or start, heaven forbid. And then what does that do? Well, that builds your foundation, and it makes you get to handpick portal guys. Be a little more discerning and not just throw a whole nother bunch of bodies into a locker room and hope it all meshes well. You know who you have. You get to watch them come up. I was really encouraged by that. Seeing those freshmen on there, that one of the Desir brothers made it. The other Desir brother isn't far behind. Kevin Wynn is there. The offensive line still gives me pause and always will until something gets figured out at this school with the offensive line. But everything else, I feel genuinely encouraged about some of the real young talent on this team.
Ah, yes, the dog days of summer are here. For a lot of folks, that means sending the kids off to college. For a lot of you, it means you're going to be going off to college. Ask for a gift on your way out. Ask for security. Ask for style. Mom and Dad, help your kid out going to college. They're going to lose their wallet probably because they're probably going to get a little tipsy one night. And by little, I mean a lot tipsy. And they're going to lose their wallet. When's the last time you guys lost your wallets? Never, right? But I lost my wallet all the time in college. I wish I had Ridge and their great wallets that now have AirTag compatibility. So get your Apple AirTag, slips right into your money clip on your Ridge wallet. You lose your wallet, quote unquote. You didn't really lose it. You're going to know where it's at because you can track it with the AirTag. Ridge gives you the goods. And they also give you the peace of mind of a lifetime warranty, free shipping, 99-day risk-free trial. Give it a try. Treat yourself. Also treat that young man or woman in your life that's going and seeking out higher education. Use the promo code WAKEUP over at ridge.com to save on your order. Again, the promo code WAKEUP over at ridge.com. We're back. It's Wake Up Warchant presented by Vitamin Energy, vitaminenergy.com. Promo code Warchant BOGO. Warchant BOGO. Buy one, get one free. Another YouTube comment I've been seeing. It's a very fervent, optimistic, big time Garnet and Gold, bleed Garnet, blank gold guy. Basically kind of criticizing us sizing up this Alabama game, which, by the way, Kalen DeBoer said pretty much in his press conference that obviously Jam Miller, their running back, is out, and Jaden Roberts is kind of an iffy proposition. Roberts is their projected first-round guard. Apparently a concussion. Apparently maybe he's had a series of concussions. So
that's not good.
That's why he hasn't exited protocol, it sounds like, yet. So, kind of a criticism. I'm not that I lost sleep over this or anything, Corey, but just something to talk about for a few minutes on the way out. But kind of implying that we've been implying that Florida State doesn't have a chance in this game. Why even play the game then? If Alabama has all this talent and Florida State doesn't have a good enough defensive line and their offensive lines maybe got a hole or two in it, why even play the game, guys? Why are you even doing a show? And I hope nobody that's reasonable thinks that we've hinted that at all, because I do not want to fast forward past this game, right? This isn't I want to just get through this game and then let's just get to Virginia and see what we really have. I think Florida State has a legitimate shot of pulling off an upset against Alabama. I don't think I'm going to pick it when we do the Warchant report, but I think there's a legitimate possibility of that happening. I don't know if I speak for you when I say the same thing here. I do not think we've said anything, despite maybe us being a little critical of what this roster looks like, that we think that this game just shouldn't even be played and we should just fast forward to the Virginia game. Side note, too, is there any team out there that you would feel that way about, though, where you'd be like, I don't even want to play this game. We know we're just going to get completely, beat up. Let's just – that's the thing. I don't think there's any team really out there that I would be totally afraid of. And I especially don't think it's Alabama. So,
especially because we don't really have any clue what Florida State is. It's a brand new defense. Literally, they're running a brand new scheme with a new defensive coordinator, and it is literally a brand new offense as far as 11 new players and a new offensive coordinator and a quarterback that is an absolute wild card. Of course we don't know there's no way anybody listening to this, and this is what bothers me is why I don't read the comments when I post anything. On social media, I'll read message boards comments. You're paying for it. But I won't read social media comments, because how much grief did we get last year for being upbeat about this team? You guys lied to us. You said they were great. You sold us a bill of goods. You're trying to sell subscriptions. Now if we try to be pragmatic and realistic and say, man, I don't know, Florida State doesn't have a great shot in this game. They're not going to – it's not unwinnable, but it's not improbable what they win. It's certainly not impossible. They're 13.5-point underdogs for a reason. If we bring that up, well, then we're too negative. We're not giving them any shot at all. And that's not how the world works, man. I don't live in the black and white. I straight up just sit my sweet, sweet tush in the gray, Aslan.
Amen.
I live in the gray, in Gray Street, as Dave Matthews once sang.
Nice.
So I've been obsessed with that song, and I'm not obsessed with that band at all.
Stephanie's
I got obsessed with that song. No chance. But that is a banger. That's a great, great song. I think it's my favorite song is. But yeah, man, there's a lot of gray. Look, they're going to have to play well to win. This is not an impossible task. This is not 2020 Alabama or 2010 Alabama. This is a team that lost 4 times last year. But on the same token, I can't sit here and act like Florida State has a great football team and should win this game. They went 2-10.
But you said it's a completely new team, though.
No, I know. But the point being, where would I get the confidence that they're going to win this game?
Right. Yeah.
Just because they made changes? We've got to see it in practice first. In practice, I mean in a game. The theory is they're going to be much better because of the changes they made. In practice, I want to see what it looks like. That does not. But I'm not a defeatist, and I'm not necessarily a pessimist. I don't. It's hard to pick a team that went 2-10 to then their first game knock off a team like Alabama. But as we've talked about, and what literally gives me hope, number one, is the quarterback for both teams, honestly. I'm not sold that Kalen DeBoer is a great coach. I'm sold that he put together a great offense with Michael Penix, but I'm not sold that he's an incredible coach, and how could I be? Come on, man.
I don't know. He's been pretty successful a lot of places. I mean, they were 9-2 in November, and if they don't – listen, I know if ifs and buts were candy and nuts, we'd all have a Merry Christmas, but, I mean – they lost 4 games, but that Oklahoma game, obviously, they got blown out. Then they lost their bowl game. I mean, they were in the playoff hunt in November, year 1. So, I think
it was year one. It was year 1 with a really talented roster.
Yeah.
Now, these are more of his guys. Ryan Williams, I guess, technically was his guy.
Correct.
Right? I guess.
Well, he held on
He
to
was
him.
a
Yeah,
true
I
freshman
mean,
last year.
he committed to Saban, but then he
Yeah.
recommitted once DeBoer got the job.
And so you still have that Saban aura around the program. Well, it's a year removed from that. It's now kind of Kalen DeBoer's program now. And I'm not saying he's not a bad coach. I'm just saying I can promise you this, Alabama fans still think he has a lot to prove. And he does. It's a big game for him. But he is not Nick Saban, was my overall point. He can be beaten. Brent Venables proved that. He can be beaten. He is not on a Mount Rushmore of college football head coaches yet. I know Aslan loves him, but he's not there yet. So
he's got a good resume.
The point being, I don't think anybody that truly listens to this show and listens to the two of us talk think that that we think this is an impossible task.
Yeah, I know.
Because I don't. I absolutely don't. I think that Alabama is getting way too much credit from Vegas. They are breaking in a new quarterback. I think Vegas rightly is holding 2-10 against Florida State, but they have not adjusted anything based on the current roster, which I think is a significant upgrade. I think the coaching staff has been significantly upgraded. It's a lot to ask in game one to beat a team that did win 9 games last year when you have a brand new scheme. That's you're jumping right out of the gate. Yeah, the continuity, it's not even so much the disparity in the talent. It's the continuity. Like you've said many times, you'd rather be game 3 or 4. Yeah. Game 1 is tough. But you are at home. You do have a wild card quarterback who is fresh-legged. Everybody in your backfield should be fresh-legged. Alabama has not been practicing tackling either. So you've got a fighting chance. You've got a real chance. Nobody – I just don't like – so I read on the message board, this was like a week ago. It is my fault. Somebody posted something about the quarterback situation. It's like, yeah, I won't believe anything those guys say anywhere because they were telling us that Brock Glenn was the next Peyton Manning.
Oh, no.
And it's like, well, just shut up, man. Just shut up. There's no way you could – we never once said that Brock Glenn – I made a point of never saying that I thought Brock Glenn was going to be a great college quarterback. I said there were things I liked about him, like the almost like the air of confidence he had about him, the athleticism. He seemed to have some he had some skills. He had some real tools. But in no world did I ever watch him in practice and go like, that guy is the next Heisman Trophy winner. But when we say that there's a chance he might be good and then they're not good, it's presented as if we proclaim them to be the next Charlie Ward. And that's what this is. We might say that Florida State has some issues, and they do. They have some disadvantages in this game. This roster is not – it's still not what Florida State caliber rosters need to be, and that goes back to the 2023 recruiting class. It's still not where it needs to be. But it is good enough to beat this Alabama team. I wholeheartedly believe that. I'm not predicting it. I'm not expecting it to happen necessarily, but it is good enough to beat this team.
Couple things on Alabama. Your guy, Kane Womack, touched his hat at the beginning of the press conference, and I don't think he touched it again. So I think he might have
so he got the message.
I think so.
That was really funny. Did you go back and watch that?
No, I didn't.
The video from last week? That was incredible.
No.
It's like me with my glasses.
Yeah.
When I'm doing the War Chant rap.
Yeah. He struck me as quiet confidence. I know that's kind of a term that either you or Ira used when doing the War Chant rap after the press conference about there might be some quiet confidence in the room when Mike walked in. I think like Womack talking about their defense, again, the continuity, like he just talks about all the things they can do now because they are in year 2 of this scheme with mostly all the same guys. He did say that he thinks they're in a good place right now when it comes to tackling, and he did mention I think he was saying something along the lines of like Tommy's probably going to be the biggest challenge for them that they've had since they've been at Alabama in terms of like creating negative plays, getting to him and things like that. So yeah, getting to your point, like, well, he thinks they're in a good place tackling, but let's see you try to tackle a guy like Castellanos in a live sort of situation.
He's just if he's playing well, he's just an incredible equalizer. Because again, I will continue to point out this Alabama defense is not going to be as good as the 2023 Florida State defense. And Castellanos ran amok, ran wild on that thing. You can't plan for this. You just don't plan for quarterbacks that move like this. It doesn't mean he's untackleable. He's been sacked plenty of times. He's had bad games. He's had negative yards rushing. Like, it doesn't mean he's impossible, but he is a layer of this offense that if everything else breaks down, this is not going to be curl into the fetal position and take a sack. This is going to be, oh, yeah, you beat the tackle. You're in the backfield. The play's still not over. This guy not only can get out of what you're about to do to him, he can break containment and hit a huge play. Like, he is just a unique challenge for a defense. And all Florida State fans, think back to all the great defenses you guys got to cheer for as Florida State, longtime Florida State fans. There were always those mobile quarterbacks that always gave you a little bit of heartache because you're like, oh, God, what can you do? What can you? It presents a different challenge, and this guy, short of Lamar Jackson and a couple of others, is one of the most mobile, athletic college quarterbacks that's lived in the modern era. You know, he just is. If he's the guy that he was 2 years ago, and apparently he's hitting all the numbers where he's very, very close to that. If he's that guy, man, there just aren't many built like this. So you hope. That's what Alabama, you just can't simulate that. You can't simulate somebody like that. So hopefully that's why I really do think Castellanos gives them a fighting chance, man. Now, if he plays bad, no chance. Correct. If he plays well, they've got a very good chance, I think.
Absolutely. And then Ryan Grubb talking about his quarterback, and we spent, we devoted part of the show yesterday talking about game manager, Ty Simpson, et cetera, et cetera. And he didn't say anything to change that sort of assumption of what Simpson's going to be, and talked about, what's best for him is just go out there and play ball, stay within himself, just like every other quarterback out there. Doesn't need to force any kind of throws that he's never done before. Things will open up within the course of the game through their scheme. So, how does Florida State knock him off of his game then, Corey? Is it stopping the run that knocks Ty Simpson off of his game, or is it really sticky coverage from a secondary that doesn't have a lot of proven stickiness to it, I guess?
Look, I think – so I did a questionnaire, I guess is what you'd call it, for the Bama Online site, the On3 site for Alabama, where they asked me 5 questions, and they said, what is – I don't remember how it was phrased, but, what gives you hope or optimism that who's going to be the biggest key to Florida State's defense being able to slow down or stop Alabama or something like that? And I just think the answer is Tony White. Player for player, we think Alabama's better, right? We think their offensive line is better than your defensive line. Yes. And as Norvell has said multiple times already, they might have the best wide receiver crew in the country.
Yes.
Ryan Williams is, I think Ohio State probably does, but they're close. Well, they're in the conversation.
They've all produced. I think all their guys, and I know Isaiah Horton was at Miami last year, but I think they all had over 50 catches last year. That's good.
They're legit. Yeah. They're legit. This is a tough deal. But what you have what you hope, what your hope is that just ultimate confusion of the quarterback and of the offensive line. This is a confusing defense to prepare for. You don't know where the blitzers are coming from. You don't know who's going to be in zone and who isn't. It's supposed to be very confusing. It's the first game these guys are all playing it. If they play that, so that's what I think the answer there is Tony White, right? I think that's what gives me hope that they can get Ty Simpson off rhythm is Tony White's brain and Tony White's acumen for stopping and slowing down really good offenses. He's done it a lot at Syracuse and Nebraska, but especially Nebraska the last 2 years. So that's what gives me hope that Simpson can be confused and make some mistakes, or even if you confuse the lineman. He sees the blitzer coming, but if the linemen don't adjust, it doesn't matter if he sees it. You're still right in his face. So that's what I think that gives me the most hope that he can be affected. I don't think it's going to be they just can't block James Williams. Or Jane Jones, just too much for him. Just too much for him. I don't foresee that. That'll happen in other games this year, I think. Probably not against Alabama. I foresee it could be an issue for Alabama's offense and offensive line, just the scheme itself.
Anything from Mike that stood out? He mentioned competitiveness, fight. I think, which, again, I think there could be a distinct possibility that Alabama jumps on Florida State early, and then they'll have to, I think, counterpunch and find their way back into this. So I guess him talking about that was encouraging. I know some of the stuff about Tommy that maybe wasn't directly tied to his production as a football player, which I think you kind of want to hear right now on game week, talking about your quarterback. Anything from Mike that
So, yeah, that was – and it wasn't like I didn't like what he was saying, but Ira asked him about, like, what – he asked him a Castellano's question about, like, I think it was about what surprised him, or is he everything you thought he'd be? And it was open-ended like that. Like, it wasn't like, tell me about his personality. It was like, is he everything you thought he would be? I could be getting that wrong, but that's how I remembered the question being asked. And Norvell basically talked about everything off the field. Now, it was good stuff. It was like he makes everybody around him better. He says hello to the women at the front desk. He says hello to everybody in the building. And I'm not saying that's a small thing. It is a small thing, but it can be a big thing too. Like, I think it says something about your personality when you're friendly and gregarious to everyone, and you're welcoming, and you are a magnetic personality, and you are a big personality, which I think this team needs at quarterback. All that is a positive. But I kind of wanted, and he said all that, and he was like, I think he makes the players around him better too, which is exactly what you want to hear because of his competitiveness. And how competitive he is. Everybody wants to rise to that level of competitiveness in practice, which is awesome. But I wanted to hear, yeah, man, how is he playing? Yeah. I get that his personality is great and his competitiveness is great. What's he look like on the field? Because the two main times I've watched him, he's looked awesome. But if he was as awesome as he's looked the two games against Florida State, he wouldn't be at Florida State. Well, maybe he would. Maybe it was time to leave Boston College either way. But so that's what I wanted to hear. So that's all. And it wasn't like what he said was a negative. And it wasn't like him not saying that he was awesome. He's been awesome. He's been incredible. He's like, if you thought Jordan Travis was good, Jordan Travis is a little baby boy compared to my man Tommy C. Like, if he'd have said something like that, that would have been crazy, number one. But also, I wasn't expecting anything like that. I just wanted to hear him address the way he's actually playing, because that's what matters now that we're in game week. And he did say he's the best I've ever seen him look. Something to that effect. That's not exactly the quote. It was kind of a weird string of words, but it was something like that. He's the best I've seen him, which is saying something because he did see him up in Boston 2 years ago. Yeah. So that's a good sign. And also, what if Tommy Castellanos has been incredible, Aslan? What if they can't – they don't even let him practice sometimes because the defense's confidence is too shaken. Like, he's just torching them day after day, play after play. I don't think Norvell would say that anyway.
Yeah.
What's to gain? What's to gain for him to say? Because he talked about
his downtrodden fan base that just took it on the chin for 12 weeks last year to feel something good finally.
I think his thought would be, you've been downtrodden this long. What's another 5 days? And then you'll be very, very excited on Saturday. Don't get people's hopes up and say, I'll be stunned if he's not in New York in December. He's the best player I've ever coached. I think he's the best player in the country. You don't say anything like that right now. Save that for after the game if he has an incredible game. But, don't say that right now. I think he did it with Jordan. Remember I think he said Jordan should be a Heisman candidate. After Jordan had played like 15 or 16 games for him. Yeah. Tommy hasn't played a game for him yet. So there was really there'd be nothing to gain for saying he's incredible. Plus, they already have enough bulletin board material from our man Tommy C. Norvell doesn't need to double down and be like, Saban isn't there. They aren't going to stop him. This is going to be fun. Hey, real quick, and he looks to Derek, the SID. What's the most points anybody's ever scored against Alabama? Can you look that up real quick? I mean, that's something Spurrier would do. But, Norvell's not going to do that. So, I just wanted to make sure he addressed if the quarterback is actually playing well in practice, and it sounded like he is.
Yeah, the quote was, I think Tommy is playing as good as he's been.
Yeah,
that's what
I think he's playing as good as he's been. It's not a normal string of words. No. Not as good as he ever has, or better than he ever has. As good as he's been. Well, last year he wasn't all that good. You know what I mean? And I think he meant what we all think he meant. He's playing as good as he ever has.
Yes.
It was strung together weird. It'd be funny if like years from now he's in a deposition. And he's being sued by Florida State fans for selling him a bill of goods. He's like, no, I didn't say that. Read it back. What did I say? He's been as good as he's been. But that doesn't even mean anything. So
we had a comment on the show yesterday. Colonel Burke, who's been a subscriber for a long time. So this is the cool thing about the Rivals on 3 merger thing that happened, Corey. A lot of the historical data has been restored. So your join date, like our guy Colonel Burke Lemon, his join date October 23rd, 2002.
Let's go.
You know what I'm saying? Like
he's a Lorenzo Booker fan.
Yes, sir. Yeah, man. I remember him from back in the Warchant days, the Rivals days when I was interning for Ira and Jim Lamar and Gene.
Yeah.
But he said, wake up from Monday. Listening to Corey Clark explain twin childbirth is worth the listen. Sounds exactly like something I would say to a group of women. And good job on the show overall. I'm a newish listener and really like the show. Keep up the good work. Spoiler for the lazy. Quote, they slide out at the same time or almost the same time. Hilarious.
Yeah, almost holding hands. I wonder if, like, Mandrell was, like, reaching for him. Like, don't go. Like, reaching out for him. Yeah. Like somebody hanging off a cliff. Yeah. I don't know how twins work, man. I know they're creepy. In a beautiful way, by the way. I know there's a lot of listeners here that have twins. But the fact that they can, like, you flick one in the ear and the other one feels it and all that craziness that you hear about, which is probably that's all nonsense, but it could be true. I think twins have some telepathy going on, man. Yeah. There's some special powers they have. And let's hope Mandrell and Daryl
unleash it on the tide. Unleash it on the tide. I don't want to wait. I don't want to wait for Charlottesville.
I don't either. And let's hope they're both first-round picks. Amen. That's the kind of twins we can get behind.
Amen. All right, so I think we're going to do a mailbag for you tomorrow, which, sorry, Corey, you're going to do headlines, and then you got to yap for 2 hours. We'll try not to do
working out.
We'll try not to do that all that often. Live show Wednesday, 6 p.m. Put that in pen on your planners, everybody. It looks like that's going to be the home for Wake Up Warchant Live this football season. Wednesday nights, 6 p.m. We'll figure out a good home for the mailbag. We'll see how the first week goes because we do get coordinators on Sunday, so we're going to have a really big blowout wrap-up show every single Monday. I did want to do like mailbag Mondays, but obviously we can't do that because of all this. But anyhow, lots going on over at warchant.com. Seminole headlines coming up 1 to 3 o'clock. And as a reminder, everybody, join Warchant now for $1 your first week and enjoy a complimentary year of The Athletic included with your membership. And for the first 100 folks that sign up this week, you get a $25 gift code to Garnet and Gold. Because Gene Williams is like, let's just do it, man. Let's just do it big. And we're going to have some stuff to give away throughout the season as well. Over-unders, predictions are going to be coming back. Not score predictions. Yeah, it was like the over-under contest we had for every single game that everybody checked out on after like week 4. We'll have that back. There'll be Garnet and Gold cash up for grabs. So subscribe to warchant.com. Get involved in the program. Again, we'll do the mailbag tomorrow. Generating discussion sparked by Cummins. Hop over to the Tribal Council. Post your question. He's Corey. I'm Aslan. Thanks for listening to Wake Up Warchant, presented by Vitamin Energy. VitaminEnergy.com. The promo code's back. Warchant BOGO. Buy one, get one free.